Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today in this video you will see the educational aims and methods of teaching according to the pragmatism and merits of pragmatism. Here the word pragmatism is the first developed by the Charles Peirce, received and reformulated by William James, developed expanded by John Dewey and F.C.S. Schiller. Unlike the realistic and rationalistic pragmatism belief, the reality is constantly changing and that we can learn best through applying our experiences and thoughts to problems as they arise. Pragmatism has impacted politics, law, education, religion, and every academic discipline. It also often thought of as a theory of truth. It is closely aligned with naturalism. John Dewey applied pragmatism philosophy in his progression approaches. He believed that learners must adapt to each other and to their environment. Now we will see the definition of pragmatism. Pragmatism offers us theory of meaning, theory of truth, theory of knowledge, and theory of reality. Now we will see the educational aims and implications of pragmatism. Pragmatism does not believe in fixed, predominant, ultimate, and general aims of education. In the words of Rose, since life itself is experimental, there is no definite goal towards which a child must advance. Aims of education should differ from the child to child according to the times and circumstances. Therefore, John Dewey says education as such has no aim. In nutshell, education must foster competence in the child that will be an all-inclusive aim to cultivate a dynamic and adaptable mind. The aim of education, according to the pragmatism, to provide dynamic direction and guidance to the child. Education should develop a dynamic, adaptable mind which will be resourceful and enterprising in all situations, which will have power to create a values is an unknown future. Education must create a new values. Rose says education consists in the direction of impulsives, interest, and abilities, not towards the realization of the scheme of values as the idealistic content, but rather towards the satisfaction of left wants of the child in his environment. Education as a continuous reconstruction of experiences. Pragmatism holds that education is not mere bookish knowledge, education is rather a growth or development. Knowledge cannot be fixed or predetermined, it changes from the time and circumstances. Knowledge gained from experiences and experiments in real knowledge. In the words of John Dewey, education is a process of living through a continuous reconstruction of experiences. It is the development of all those capacities in the individual which will enable him to control his environment and fulfill his philosophy. Pragmatism content. The pragmatism suggests following curriculum for different stages. At the primary stage, reading, writing, arithmetic, study of nature, drawing, and handicrafts. And the secondary stage, language, sociology, maths, physics, science, and health. According to the girls, home science, and according to the boys, agriculture and science. In the next, we will see the methods of pragmatism in education. In the view of pragmatism, the teaching method is based on the child interest and is able to solve the problem of the child is most preferable. It allows experimental method, project method, and manual training which produce a collective occupational spirit in the school in which the individual simply acts as a cell in the social body. The individual is only a conduct conveying the group influence or a person believes derived from other through tradition, education, and the environment. Cognition is an activity of the group or society as a whole, and innovations are the products of collective science and technology rather than the creation of individual thinker and doers. According to the pragmatist, education is an effective tool for integrating culture and vocation. They promote the group rather than the teacher as the main source of the social control in the school. Following are some of the principles followed by the pragmatist. Principles of linking with life, principles of learning by doing, principle of integration. Now we will see the pragmatism and the teacher. Pragmatism want the children should discover knowledge of their own, and teachers should play the role of active observer and guide in the discovering of this knowledge. He or she puts the child in the real situation of his or her life so that he or she might be able to understand his or her life problems and thereby solving them. He or she wants to create a such dynamic and flexible brain in the child which remains active to solve never problems. His or her duty is not to inculcate old values in the minds of the child, rather, it is enable him or her such that or she can meet his or her needs and solve his or her problems. Thus, according to the pragmatics, a teacher should be a capacity of a guide and social worker. Pragmatism and the child. According to the pragmatism, a child is a center of education. The child is naturally self active and he or she learns by doing. He or she has acquired many experiences which gradually shape his or her personality. According to the pragmatists, the attitude of a children is dynamic. They should be imparted education according to the attitudes and interests. Pragmatism would become a vehicle for the delineation and socialization of the child. Now you will see the pragmatism and discipline. Pragmatism condemns representative, implementistic, eminentistic, and enforced discipline. It believes in social discipline based on the children's interest, activities, and sense of social responsibility. Pragmatism believes that the play and the work should be combined, and this combination will develop the mental attitude, discipline, interest, and sense of purpose. He or she will be develop a self-confidence and self-realization and cooperative sympathy and fellow feeling for others. Now we will see the fundamental principles of pragmatism. The truth is a changeable. This changeable is according to the space, time, and situation. As the truth is changeable, in the same manner, the goal and the objectives of the life are also changeable. Each theory, thought, belief, or object is evaluated on the basis of its goodness and evilness. If its fruit is good, then it will be useful, else not. Though is always produced from activity, activity occurs first and the thought was produced. Pragmatism holds pluralism. According to the pluralism, experience is a test of truth. Those ideals and values which are tested by experiences are truth and real. Man has the power to think. He has the ability to understand a problem, to think about its solution and the work accordingly. Due to this person of his power of his, an individual is able to adjust to his environment and adapt environment to him. Man is a social being, so his life grows in the society itself. He makes his life successful in the society. He has no existence outside the society. Now we will see the forms of pragmatism. Humanistic pragmatism, which satisfies the human nature, is only true and real. Humanistic pragmatism believes whatever fulfills my purpose, satisfies my desire, develops my life, it's true. Experimental pragmatism. Whatever can be experimentally verified is true, or what work is true. Biological pragmatism. It says that man has a power by which he adjusts himself to his environment and adapts environmental to himself. According to the John Dewey, pragmatism is tested by the thought process of man regarding adapting environment to him. Contributions of pragmatism to education. The student is prepared to live in society and learn skills and attitudes which are required to him to live as a useful member of a society. The teacher methods are based on learning by doing. The project method is contribution of pragmatism to modern education. Pragmatism encourages a democratic view of learning through professional and cooperative projects and activities. Utility is the educative process in the first criticism criterion. The school is expected to provide learning and experiences that are useful. Education is not bound to the tradition. Pragmatism philosophers advise us to test everything through our own experience. The teacher has to play a very challenging role in the education process under pragmatism, and he has to be very alert and watchful. They are some of the merits of pragmatism. Construction of a project method. This method, a child indulging in various creative activities is able to solve many problems which cater to his natural progress and development. And the next, importance of child. Opposing bookish knowledge and formal education, pragmatism lays a great stress upon the development of a child individuality by his own effort and emphasize on activity. The principle of learning by doing is the main contribution of pragmatism. Faith in applied life. It emphasizes the practical life of child. It prepares the child for future life in very effective manner. And the next, social and democratic education. It develops in the child love for democratic values and social efficiency, which bring harmonious adjustments and development of personality. Infusion of new life in education. It has revolutionized the process of education to a very great extent. This has infused a new life and just in education. Conclusion. Pragmatism upholds the supreme value of man, presides freedom of thinking, experimenting, or experiencing for him. Not only this, it lays emphasis upon flexibility, utility, and adjustment in all fields of human activity and society in full extent. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe my channel.